Thank you, Jason.
We need a
Like I
wide
said, we're
mic.
gonna start the day off with a bang indeed. Let me get started. Let me compose myself.
Mm-hmm.
My story this morning is coming out of Massachusetts, where all the tea has indeed been spilling. And you know what, y'all? Sometimes the universe provides us gifts. Whether said gifts are earned or not, oftentimes it's the best to just take them as they came. Maybe privately assess what happened and properly plan out your next move accordingly. Because when it came to losing her job as Massachusetts' top cannabis regulator, Shannon O'Brien decided she would not be taking her ousting as a gift, and that she and her lawyers wanted all the smoke, and when it cleared, so would her good name. Because she believes she was fired in what they say was a sham process. Asking you shall receive, Miss O'Brien. Because newly released records show that the former Massachusetts top cannabis regulator, Shannon O'Brien, was found by an outside investigator in September to have made a series of racist and culturally insensitive remarks, including referring to Asian people as quote unquote yellow, while sowing turmoil within the very agency she was appointed to lead. It was these revelations that prompted State Treasurer Deborah Goldberg to suspend O'Brien days later. The allegations were not previously public. However, they were included in the court filing that O'Brien made in her lawsuit, defending herself from said accusations against Treasurer Deborah Goldberg, who suspended her as chair of the state's Cannabis Control Commission. O'Brien, a former state treasurer and one time Democratic nominee for governor, said that she wants a fair hearing process. After a long career in public service, I deserve a legitimate opportunity and not a sham process to defend my good name and reputation, which has been unfairly maligned. Goldberg issued in a statement in September saying she suspended O'Brien based on several serious allegations in a report compiled by an outside law firm. But there were no details until court filings Friday by O'Brien, who is seeking to delay an upcoming private meeting to challenge her suspension. She contends the closed door process has been unfair. Howard Cooper, one of O'Brien's attorneys, said Goldberg is afraid to hold a public hearing with witnesses and cross examination to show the lack of merit of this so called process. He also said in the court filings that they indicate any allegation of racial insensitivity is frivolous in the extreme. End quote. For months, Goldberg declined to provide full details as to why she suspended O'Brien, a former political ally whom she appointed in 2022 to serve a 5 year term as the Cannabis Commission's chair, only saying that other commissioners and staff made, quote, several serious allegations about O'Brien's behavior, prompting officials to hire outside investigators to probe the complaints. O'Brien did not include the actual report in her court filings, but she did attach a 5 page letter to Goldberg sent her in October detailing the basis for her suspension, including a conclusion that she made a series of quote racially, ethnically, and culturally insensitive statements. Goldberg, the Cannabis Control Commission, and other entities, including Governor Maura Healey's office, have so far declined to release the outside investigators' filings. In one instance, Goldberg wrote O'Brien made reference to, quote, a person of Asian heritage during the fall 2022 meeting, saying, I guess you're not allowed to say yellow anymore. O'Brien did not deny making the statement, according to the letter. I should have cleaned it up, O'Brien reportedly told investigators. It's difficult sometimes to know how to say the right thing. In a separate incident cited in July, O'Brien surprised her fellow commissioners when she announced that the commission's executive director, Sean Collins, was planning to leave the agency before describing the commission as being, quote, in crisis. Collins told O'Brien of his plans to leave in confidence and hadn't intended to make a statement publicly until a later date of his own choosing. O'Brien later apologized for, quote, any confusion I created because Collins, the only executive director the commission has ever had, said last month he will, in fact, leave the agency after completing parental leave. Goldberg said Collins, who used to work in her office, also accused O'Brien of criticizing him to other staff, arguing he was, quote, MIA and unavailable when on parental leave. The whole point of parental leave is to separate yourself, I thought. Such disparaging comments could be deemed part of a larger effort to retaliate against him for taking leave to which he is legally entitled, Goldberg wrote. Per the Boston Globe's reporting, O'Brien and Collins clashed often, and complaints he made against her sparked a second investigation into her, according to court filings. This literally is wild. Goldberg said staff reported other concerns about O'Brien's behavior, which included subjecting her executive assistant to distressing yelling episodes. In addition, the report described her conduct as causing turmoil internally and creating a challenging environment in which to foster cohesion within the agency. O'Brien criticized the investigators' findings, arguing that they were filled with error and improper conclusions. She also contends that none of the people she suggested the investigators speak to were interviewed, and that Goldberg blocked a state treasury employee from participating, who she says would have had exculpatory information that would support her. Well, I think it's obvious in this case O'Brien did not seek counsel from Pop brothers in law, who would have definitely told her just to shut the F up. But we all know hindsight is 2020. O'Brien and her legal team will now have the chance to clear her good name, as she says, and defend the comments revealed by several others that ultimately led to her ouster, which seems, at least from the outside, what Goldberg was attempting to do. In wake of the letter's full contents being revealed Friday, O'Brien is now asking the judge to postpone an administrative hearing scheduled for Tuesday, tomorrow, in which she was expected to challenge her suspension, arguing that the private meeting organized by the treasurer's office lacks the quote most basic of fair procedures. We'll be paying close attention to this one in this Boston case as it progresses. One might even say while having our very own tea party.
Mm.
Sip on, Jason.
Mm-hmm. Pinkies up. Pinkies up. Don't forget.
I'm Rico Lemite, the dopest dad on the street for High at Nine News. Very eager to hear the rest of the team's take on this. This one. This is crazy, man. Choking on my tea.
Yarrow, is your tea yellow?
No,
Okay.
you got one letter wrong there.
I mean,
no, my tea is not yellow, and my wife's family's from England. They're all into tea. I'm pretty much staying with the coffee for the most part.
drink. I didn't realize they made yellow coffee.
They don't, not unless you're a bad brewer, I suppose.
A bad brewer.
What are you guys' thoughts on Miss O'Brien here and her allegation?
Man, I mean, look, you know, this is really rich, right? I mean, I totally can relate to have not gotten the memo that yellow isn't an acceptable adjective when describing people of Asian descent. Like, I think that memo was just sent like 50 years ago.
Well, hold on. Every other, all the other races, we use color to distinguish people.
All we got to do is look at how people describe
white and black
themselves or want to be described by others. You've never heard an Asian person say, "Just call me yellow."
No, never.
Never happens.
Okay, all right, I can accept that.
The other thing that's challenging for me is, you know, I haven't worked for the government. I've only worked in private enterprise, and in private enterprise, for the most part, what do they call it? At-will employment. Like, you're there because you're there, and you can be gone in a minute without so much as a reason, much less a good reason or a justifiable reason. I guess it's different when you work for the government, because then, and I'm not an employment attorney, but I guess then, you know, if you don't like the way you were fired or you feel like something wasn't as proper about that, you can sort of kick up dust and hire a lawyer. And I guess anybody can hire a lawyer for anything, but you know, in private enterprise, you're there because the boss wants you there, and when the boss doesn't want you there, you're not there anymore. And so it seems like a lot of whining. The other thing that's challenging for me is just seems like when you're in the government and you're in a position of leadership, you know you're under some type of magnifying glass. Your actions are going to be more heavily scrutinized. I think that has to be worth it before you say yes to the position. They got great health insurance, I hear. So if you have to learn to keep your mouth shut, there may not be a thought crime, but certainly leaving the quiet part out loud and presenting yourself as Klan adjacent. It's just not gonna work.
Maybe she didn't realize that she was on a hot mic, Yarrow.
Hot mic? Hot mic? This ain't even a hot mic.
I don't know if she was on a hot mic or a magic mic or a what the baby
magic
mic. She was not. She was, it's the quiet part out loud. Some people get really comfortable, and in this era with this type of divided country, people are saying what they think, and we deserve better in the workplace.
I like.
I believe she's claiming that I didn't know I couldn't say that defense when she might have been better off saying like, "Hey, I'm from Boston. That's how we talk."
I personally really enjoyed the fact that of when she said that I didn't get the memo that we couldn't say yellow anymore. I think that might be my favorite part of the story right there.
This lady is as former President Trump would say, this lady's a real beauty.
Oh man!
I heard she's gonna be the campaign manager for Santos's second run. Is that what her next job is gonna be?
I mean, I can't believe that they repealed
Santos for VP.
They repealed Santos. That is just remarkable. I mean, every single politician.
He a couple memos he didn't get.
Every politician has lied. Okay, I don't think there's not one politician that has never lied, and the fact that they expelled him for lying is just ridiculous. They need to expel everybody.
But in order to do things to the level that Santos did, you got to be president, man.
Are you saying because I feel like this might be a discriminatory case because it was a man that had OnlyFans?
Hey, no, man. I don't think it was the fact that it was a man that had OnlyFans. I think it's the fact that he used campaign funds to pay for his OnlyFans.
Yeah, but there was already a precedent set with that with the Duncan Hunter thing, and this went way over that. But nonetheless, that has nothing to do with everything that we're talking about today. We got to keep it rolling. We're going to go to a commercial. And we're going to be right back.